Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boys from For Those with Good Taste. I'm Matt. He's Lenny.
Bang, bang.
And we are right back here in Good Taste Studios, treating you to what we would say
As a plethora of entertainment news.
ooh, a smorgasbord?
A plethora.
I like the way that you did that.
Yes,
Took
sir.
a lot of confidence. But we've got some big news in the world of movies and entertainment because Disney Plus is making a pretty big splash in that entertainment pool, buddy.
It was quite the splash, Matt. And if you at home would like to make a splash along with Disney, you'll go ahead and find the buttons to the south of your screen that say subscribe, a little bell for notification maybe around there somewhere. You maybe hit that comment, you slap that bitch around, and you let us know what you think of Disney Plus's announcement.
We don't promote violence, but absolutely slap that
All right.
like and share button.
Back to brass tacks, man.
But yeah, some pretty big announcements. We got some teaser trailers on some things that are pretty anticipated for Disney Plus. How did you feel after their big Investor Day announcements?
I'd be lying if I told you, Matt, that I was aware any of this was going on when it went on.
I didn't know either.
My first time I noticed anything for it was playing. I think it was like Sunday night. I saw, maybe it wasn't Sunday, whatever fucking night it was. I was playing video games and I saw something about the Falcon and Winter Soldier trailer.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, that shit. Like we've been waiting for that for a while. Because to start here, before we get into the content itself, when I first heard about all of this, I'd been talking to friends recently, and they had been talking about Disney specifically, where it's like, what have I had this like membership for?
Yeah.
You know, especially for a person like myself, I've wasted the most money on Disney of anybody.
Yeah, because you haven't watched a lick of The Mandalorian
Exactly.
at all.
And like, if you haven't watched The Mandalorian, what have you really paid for? I've paid to watch X-Men, and I've also paid for like the Mighty Ducks, Brink, and a couple old
It's been
movies.
more of a nostalgia subscription at this point. I mean, I can say that I've checked out some of the new content that they've put out on. Onward was a really good movie. Genuinely
I saw
enjoyed
that in
it.
the movie theater.
How would you think of it in the movie theater?
It was great.
Pretty
It's
good?
a good movie. I mean, it didn't get a lot of buzz. It didn't get talked about a ton.
No, and I think that's one of those things with that straight to streaming. There's not a huge amount of promotion. I mean, these Investor Day announcements, the same way they kind of just flew by you. I didn't really find out anything until I saw a small article saying that Owen Wilson was going to be in the new Loki movie.
We'll get there. The thing is, when you call something the Investor Day, does that sound like it's geared towards me or you, Matt? I'm not a fucking investor.
I think
I get the premise.
They definitely want to let people know that they've got shit coming out.
Oh,
and
no,
it's
it
worth
was,
putting
hey,
your money into it.
Matt, all that was, hey, investors, all those people are bitching that we haven't given them anything. Let's give them a little fucking taste. Let's give them a little bump.
Let's wet their beak.
Bumpski. Yeah.
Wet their beak.
And then here we are. We're all excited again, and we're all going to stick around for another year. Everybody's locking back up their yearly subscriptions to Disney Plus. They're catching you on that $14.99 Hulu and ESPN Plus deal, right? And it's all based off of this. And to get into like the strategy behind it, I like the idea. I heard that they're going to have a new show up every, like from Marvel, at least every 2 months is the plan.
Yeah, new
So
series
let
every
some
2
stuff
months.
breathe, but also all this stuff. Maybe it's been great. Good things come to those who wait. And here we are. We've put in a year of knowing these shows are coming, and now we're going to get just a buttload of new content every other month. Because like you played that little Spicer trailer that they put out, and shit was happening so fast with what they have coming. It was like some stuff I cared, and some stuff I didn't even have enough time to know if I cared. Like I thought I saw Pinocchio on there.
Yep,
I don't
Pinocchio's
give
on
a
Disney Plus.
fuck
Yeah.
about that. Why? Okay. I don't need to talk about Pinocchio, but just to point out real quick, is there anything wrong with the original?
There's nothing wrong with the original.
Like, is there something that needs to be retold about the kid who can't tell lies and his nose gets big?
Maybe the graphics are going to look better?
Who cares?
Listen,
Who
nobody
cares?
can be more disappointed in remakes because Lenny, you know what I did this past weekend?
What do you watch?
I watched Mulan.
Who cares?
Nobody,
Yeah.
because nobody signed up for the Premier Access option to watch this based on what I've heard. And then when I watched it, I wish I could have taken my eyeballs out, threw those back in time to a time where I didn't watch it because I was genuinely disappointed.
If you could just pick a select part of your body to throw back in time, would your eyes be what you threw back?
For this particular movie, definitely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That's not like a steadfast rule for all scenarios.
Oh, no, and I certainly didn't break the code or the formula for time travel by any means. But I would have certainly loved to have not watched that movie because it was an utter disappointment. I've been waiting for 2 months for that to become available outside of Premier Access on Disney Plus, and I didn't really get my money's worth.
Forgive me, is this going to be a live action Pinocchio, or is this another animated Pinocchio? We don't know.
It looked animated.
I'm not going to spend a ton of time on it. If it's animated, it makes less sense because the other one, like it doesn't make sense. Are they going to do what's the one where they catch the whale? Not Free Willy, because they were trying to not.
You're thinking of Moby Dick.
Thank you. Are they doing that? Is that coming up?
Have they ever made a Moby Dick movie?
Chris Hemsworth did.
Oh, but that was like Captain Ahab, wasn't it?
Isn't that Moby Dick?
No, I know, but it's not the name of the movie. Isn't like Moby Dick, is it?
No, I don't think they could get that past screening.
Yeah, I just don't think that's neither here nor there. I mean, Pinocchio essentially is just Moby Dick, except Pinocchio's Captain Ahab, and it's all a metaphor.
Right.
I just knocked it out of the park.
So I don't know why I got so hung up on Pinocchio when I was going through this trailer. They had like 900 things in this trailer. And for me, Pinocchio stood out so much on like, why?
I think we've struck a nerve on remakes.
Yeah.
Particularly with you.
Yeah. They might as well put Pinocchio on Netflix.
But they announced some good things too, because there are the things that we're looking forward to, like
the Marvel stuff hit it out of the park, right?
Yeah, it is a knockout. I mean, I would also say I'm pretty excited for the Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah, and I want to give that some time of its own because I think that should be talked about. But
so,
yeah, like
what do you want to start off with today?
The Marvel stuff in general. Like I said, I think we all WandaVision's a curious one. We don't know exactly what we're gonna get with that. I'm intrigued. I like the actors involved, so I'm gonna watch it, and I like Marvel, so I'm gonna watch it.
Do you like the idea that most of these are being released as series and not movies?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the length. It comes back to did they learn from Netflix? And this is like a really good plug because I'm not drinking this, I'm just holding it up. But did they learn from the Marvel Netflix mistake, right? Where those episodes of Daredevil stick around maybe a bit too long.
Yeah.
Whereas the Defenders is only like 8 episodes and it's a little bit more of a breeze.
Well, because the Defenders you're not really building into the characters. We already know who the characters are. And we're more so just giving them a platform to kind of do what they do.
Yeah, because a TV show can be a really good form. And I think for some of these characters, it's the best way that you could do it. Because I don't think a Loki movie plays. I don't think a Wanda and Vision movie plays. But like 30-minute to an hour episodes where they're in different scenarios like that are kind of wonky and crazy could work. Loki could be interesting. It could low-key be really good.
Is that what you're doing? Is that what we're doing now? Just making puns and not taking responsibility for them?
The two though, from me, Matt, and actually, I'll just ask before I get onto the two that were most important to me. Like, where do you stand on WandaVision and Loki?
I love the idea that there's shows. I like the idea that it's gonna probably be a slow build, so it maybe gives me more opportunity to get invested or more invested into a character. Love that idea. I mean, even if you didn't make me wait 2 months, the idea of just kind of purging all of this content on me, I'm okay with it because we're in a time where we definitely need it.
I would agree. And no matter when these come out, like to me, WandaVision plays better in the winter. Maybe Loki plays a little better in the summer.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier doesn't play better in the winter?
I didn't get there yet, Matt.
Sorry.
Maybe that was going to be next winter.
I jumped the gun a little bit, needless to say.
I look at this though, and what really stood out to me is Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I thought that trailer was like money. That's what I've looked forward to the most.
Yeah.
Because to me, when you look at what could go big screen, but could play on the small screen, I think these characters and like this storyline is the most equipped. It's the most grounded too, in a way. It's in the universe. In Marvel, the Captain America universe is the most grounded, right?
Yeah.
Like watch the Winter Soldier and not. And tell me that it's not a very like grounded movie. It's
probably one of the best Marvel movies that's ever been made. We won't go there yet as far as ranking them, but yeah, definitely.
So when I saw this trailer, it had a lot of that feel to me, where it is going to be a little bit more of a crime, espionage, like
odd couple scenario.
You know, hand to hand, like it's just going to be a little bit more physical than it is going to be CGI and everything, and that really excites me. The other one that really stood out to me was the What If series.
Yeah.
And first and foremost, the animation caught me, right?
Yeah, it's very different.
Yeah, it looks really cool, and the characters look like themselves. Like when I saw Tony Stark, I marked out a little bit because I was like, oh, like I forgot how cool this show's premise is, that it's going to be all these like what if scenarios in the
Yeah.
Marvel universe, and it's going to be different tellings. And the only way you could have done that is animated. But when you see Tony look like Tony, and you're like, oh, I'm going to get another.
Yeah, I get another
Like a Robert Downey Jr.
RDJ.
is going to play the character again, and it's going to feel like him playing the character, even though it's not. It's an animated version of him. You know, like it felt really cool.
It's kind of an art to be able to translate characters from a live action to an animated, or vice versa, right? I think it really does take a lot of skill, and to generate that kind of excitement for this, I think it really does kind of show that they're not putting their eggs all in one basket, but they're kind of doing the right thing. And it looks like it could turn out to be something pretty good.
Yeah, those are the two that I will look like. I'm going to be eagerly awaiting when the time comes for them to air. Like that's going to be what gets me. And we were talking about this before we went on. That the difficulty for me with the excitement level is like, truth be told, I'm not a huge TV guy.
Yeah.
Like I don't like for my cable box that I do have, I just have it for sports. You know, the only weekly TV I follow really is wrestling. As stupid as that sounds.
That's a soap opera in itself.
Yeah, like it so, and that's just because when you've watched something from when you were 8 years old, like it's just like it's ingrained in me to watch wrestling weekly, and I don't like I listen more than I watch. But my point being is like I didn't see this list and say like, damn, like I'm gonna watch these every week. I don't watch The Mandalorian. I'll probably watch The Mandalorian 3 years from now when I can watch 4 seasons of The Mandalorian and see how everything plays out. But I don't get really up for watching things week by week. For me to be excited on Falcon and Winter Soldier, what if, like, that's kind of big for me, because that is something that I think the second it gets like added, the same way with Daredevil, I think I was like this, where that was a show, if it got added to Netflix, like I was going to watch it right away.
Okay, you were going to binge it.
I hopped into it, but The Punisher has sat there on my list, not being watched forever, right?
Yeah, we talked about this.
So yeah, I'm just not as much of a TV guy. Some of the movie announcements are a bigger deal for me. Branching out to more TV that's not Marvel though. Did you watch the fucking trailer from Mighty Ducks?
I didn't, but I heard about the disappointment.
It's so to set the scene, it's the mom from Gilmore Girls.
Okay.
Right. And she has a loser ass son, not to be a bully. He's just a loser ass son. And
call it what it
is getting bullied by what appears to be, to me, like the son of the, what's the team they play in the second movie?
Iceland?
Iceland team. So I was going to say German. But
no, same thing.
It's like the son of the Iceland team.
Yeah, okay.
And it's like he's the coach of this team, and he's just like betaing her son. And she's like, why do you guys all take this seriously? Like, you paid for like a $20,000 coach to coach your kid for a Pee-wee soccer tournament. You're a dickhead, like bullying my son. So she she goes and dusts off a relic, Matt. She shows up to what to me appears to be Hans's skate shop. You know, with the ketchup,
where he would,
the ketchup and everything.
Yeah, where he cuts off his finger.
Yeah. And guess who's there?
Gordon Bombay.
Yes, sir.
He's still running the shop?
He looks like he's running the shop. He's looking a little thick in the face.
Okay.
Look at it.
I haven't seen Emilio Estevez.
This is the first time in years.
And God knows how long.
I'm going to give it a shot because I love Emilio Estevez, and I'm sure that they have to have some of the nostalgic characters.
You also love the Mighty Ducks, buddy.
I do. But the problem with this trailer is like, so it's the Mighty Ducks being made for kids, which it should be made for kids. It's not like,
it's not for us anymore.
It doesn't need to be made for me. I guess when I always thought about revisiting the Mighty Ducks, I love the idea of doing like a beer league.
Having all the guys come back.
Yeah, like I like the idea that they're all in like a rec league together.
Have you seen Goldberg lately? I don't think he's playing keeper for anybody.
He's healthy again.
Is he doing well? Yeah,
they got him.
For him.
They got him back on track.
Good for him.
But he doesn't need to be involved. Like
he can coach.
No,
Julie the Cat Gaffney's in goal, dude.
We don't need to give a large influx of money to a former drug user. But I would love to see like Charlie Conway, Cake Eater, Adam Banks, Jesse Hall. You know,
bring back Kenan Thompson.
Reed.
Kenan Thompson.
Yep, all of them. Right.
What was his name in Knuckle Puck Kid? Can't remember his name though.
It's Kenan Thompson. We're
terrible.
Why the fuck don't I know his name right now? You're gonna really upset me. That
Sorry, buddy.
Kenny Wu, you're gonna have like some of them. Julie the Cat Gaffney. I don't need to go a whole hour just naming characters. But either way, a beer league version would have been better than this. It was a little bit of a bummer. What movies did they say were going to be coming though,
I mean, we had a few of them. So we've got, I mean, from a Disney standpoint, anime, we've got Baymax, we've got Zootopia Plus, Moana and Tiana. We've got Raya and the Last Dragon, which I think was the one that I got excited for.
What's
just
that?
because it looks pretty cool. Couldn't tell you what it's about.
Okay, like what? I've not seen the trailer. What plant me in the world that is Raya and the Last Dragon?
Think Monster Hunter, except it's more of a journey type thing with a kid, and he's gonna get to know his dragon.
You want me to think Monster Hunter? When I think Monster Hunter, the only thing
the video game, not the movie.
Well, so okay, because all I think about is the movie and how it had to get pulled from Chinese
No, we
cinemas.
don't. We're not going to talk about that.
The only place this movie could make money is in China, and they decided to make racist jokes against China. So
no, we won't.
What a clusterfuck that is, huh, people?
We won't give them the lighter day. I'm talking video game. It gives you kind of like that medieval type world that we got with How to Train Your Dragon.
Okay.
Looks pretty cool, but don't take my word for it. Go check out the trailer.
Baymax, I'm sure Baymax is gonna have some buzz. To it, right?
I am pessimistically optimistic.
Sure, that's not
conservatively optimistic.
That's probably more.
Sure, I don't do sayings. Okay,
no, leave those to me.
Because I loved Big Hero 6. I thought that was one of the best Disney movies that's come out in a long time.
I agree. Animated movies.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I will tell you that I was, from a TV series aspect, I was really excited about the announcement for the Star Wars shows that they're going to be kind of blasting out.
This is your field.
This is a little bit my field. Yeah.
So were there any standouts to you? Do you think it's a little oversaturated? I think you told me 10 series.
Yeah, I mean that's just the ones that they've already got planned out. They're talking 10 series over the next decade, and some of those we can see relatively quickly.
It's like 10 series over the next decade makes more sense to me.
I mean, but they're getting started pretty quickly, because the ones that I think are standing out to a lot of people are the Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I've heard a lot about
TV
that
series, and the main buzz behind that is because they're getting Hayden Christensen back to play Darth Vader.
And, I mean,
which is pretty huge.
Like the two biggest characters to come from those, right? Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen.
Yep.
It's pretty big.
Yeah, it's huge news. And then with...
So I'm sorry to the kid. Is it Brandon Lloyd or something like that? Is the little kid's name Daniel Lloyd? Who cares?
Couldn't tell you.
His career went down the hill, huh?
Don't care. But what I will say is there is a lot of buzz, specifically, spoiler alert, 3, 2, 1. For those of you who've watched The Mandalorian, Ahsoka Tano made an appearance in not last week's episode, but the week before. And she's also been announced to get her own TV series where we get some backfill on her story. Rosario Dawson, I think, did a good job as Ahsoka Tano, but a lot of hate from the physical look of her. So it does kind of lead me...
You trying to get canceled? You saying negative things about the way Rosario Dawson looks?
No, I would never say. I would say the way that they designed her character to look. She did a fantastic job. She's gorgeous.
Trying to protect you.
No, she's absolutely gorgeous. I could never get canceled for Rosario Dawson because I love her. But they didn't do a fantastic job with the overall character look, and I do think that kind of left a bad taste in some people's mouths. So it'd be interesting to see how some of these TV series come out. But then we've got the Bad Batch, which is a relaunch of the latest season for the Clone Wars. They're going to have their own spin-off series. So there's a lot of things to look forward to from a Star Wars perspective.
Self-proclaimed not a Star Wars guy. But I think you all should be optimistic in the fact that there is a bajillion books and comics and everything that you can pull from for this stuff. So the idea, it's almost crazy that it's taken them this long. But I guess what it comes down to is it's easier from a funding standpoint to make animated series than it is to make live action. But now that you have a platform like Disney Plus, it probably does lend itself a little bit more now to having the funding or the ability to really add some depth to the lore or the lore that is
absolutely
Star Wars, and give us more layers. Because I do think for a person like me, again, not a TV guy, but there's more likelihood that I find one of these series that I'll watch and be interested in. Because despite the fact that I haven't watched The Mandalorian, I can appreciate that, like, I'm going to be caught up visually in it right away, and that it looks and feels like a movie.
Absolutely.
And I believe that by doing these 10 series that we're going to get a lot of that here too, right?
Yeah, you're going to get a lot of that. And I think that that's something, you made a great point about, it being such a long time between their animated shows. For most people who were introduced to Star Wars, maybe not earlier back in the 2000s, but 2005 to maybe 2010, you really didn't know Star Wars outside of the terrible movies that they made for 1, 2, and 3, the prequels. But then they added a lot of color with the animated Clone Wars series. And a lot of people who enjoy Star Wars now got involved when they were watching some of those animated episodes. So,
I mean, some of the for the people who I respect a lot on their Star Wars knowledge, and I like my buddy Steve, Hey Archer, has. Okay, so before we were so rudely interrupted by our battery dying, I was going to say that like what I've always heard from people that I trust the opinion on Star Wars stuff, and a big one would be like our buddy Steve at Hey Archer, has always told me like the best stuff that you can watch for this is the Star Wars animated series.
Yep.
And I've always had an appreciation for it. Not that I've seen a lot of it, but I think that's one of the things I've always appreciated is that I do like the animated series that they have put out, maybe more in some instances than the movies. But I think that this is a good opportunity for them to branch out and prove that they can. And The Mandalorian's obviously been a good example of the opportunity to use these other characters. And I think it's gone well enough that they can justify doing 10 years and 10 seasons or 10 shows or whatever.
There's just so many different ways that you can tie all of these characters because it's such a vast like universe that you're looking at with Star Wars.
In so many unique environments and characters that they can play with that. Like the fear for me would always be if you're going to make 10 different shows, in Marvel, we were talking about earlier, maybe you don't have to fear this as much there either, is that the characters are so unique and interesting that these shows don't all have to feel the same.
Yeah.
Because, the Marvel thing with the Netflix stuff is like the shows, while had different characters, all took place in or around the same areas. So, and I haven't seen Luke Cage. I've heard Luke Cage kind of feels a little bit different with Harlem and everything.
Yeah, it's a different feel. They give you more of an in-depth look at what the neighborhood kind of looked like. Yeah. So Luke Cage is more involved.
The environments just feel like New York to me, right?
Yeah.
Like you always just feel like you're in New York. Like everything still feels kind of like sullen and like dark.
Yeah.
Whereas this, I think that you're going to get opportunities for some vivid, like bright colors and cool environments, but you're also going to get those like grittier, dirtier.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of cinematic eye candy, right? There's going to be a lot of things to make look good on your TV. And it really does get better with some of these different storylines. You made a great point about how, now having Disney Plus, it gives them the platform to kind of expand on some of these universes and explore. Absolutely. We get a lot of great characters from it.
So speaking of explorers, we did get a update on revisiting a franchise that has been dead for, I want to say 2007 was the last time we got one of these now. And it wasn't good. If you haven't guessed by now, we're talking about Indiana Jones.
Ooh.
So the 2008, I was right
there.
Yeah, okay. So King of the Crystal Skull was awful, and it killed the franchise. But here we are, what's going to be 14 years later. They are thinking about dusting off the old franchise, and not only dusting it off, they're not even necessarily planning, it doesn't sound, to pass the baton.
No. The torch is still sitting pretty right where it was.
Yeah, that isn't that a little wild to want to go back. How old is Harrison Ford?
Harrison Ford?
He's got to be 75.
What I will say is, how long are we going to act like it's okay?
You don't have to finish the whole word, buddy.
I know,
he's already
man.
there.
We know I can't Google. He's 78 years old.
I was right on it. Like that's nuts. And I did just see on that last page that they do reference, and they got James Mangold, who is the director of Logan, to come back. But here's the thing: I get that it worked with old Logan, but Hugh Jackson's not that old.
Hugh Jackman. He's not part of the Jackson class.
Hugh Jackson is not a good coach, by the way.
Huge Jackman. Yeah, absolutely.
But Hugh Jackman, he is in the prime of his life still, right? Like he's still a physical specimen.
He is in peak performance, and he's able to, do all the action cuts. He can run through the forest in some of those scenes and be able to do everything and look good doing it. I don't see Harrison Ford doing anything outside of going outside and getting the mail from the mailbox.
Yeah,
nowadays.
or crashing planes, because he does that a lot.
Okay, jeez.
That's just
I know that's fact. That's fact.
It's not a mean joke. He just crashes
maybe
planes.
He should get a chauffeur. Perhaps.
Or Matt, here's a take. He should go full Tom Cruise and crash a plane on camera. He should do that as a stunt.
If you're gonna do it, get paid for it.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
You've been doing it for fun for so long. Indiana Jones, though, coming back in 2022 with it. If he doesn't pass the baton to short round, I don't know what the fuck we're doing here.
You would only be setting yourself up for another film if you don't pass the baton at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Do me a favor. let's wrap it up. Can I say that? Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah.
With all due respect to Harrison Ford, love your work. We're talking about Star Wars. There will never be another Han Solo. I need you to wrap it up, my man.
I guess the thing is, like, they did try to pass the baton, right? Like, it wasn't like they didn't give it a go. They tried giving it to Shia LaBeouf, who, not to go down a dark road, has got himself in his own little trials and tribulations right now in the public. But it didn't work there either, right? Like, it did not work there. And here we are again. Is Spielberg involved?
I haven't seen anything about Spielberg. So he did direct the last movie. But in this one, no, we've just got James Mangold.
Just got James Mangold.
Yeah.
Is that good or bad, Matt, for the franchise?
Lenny, we're making a 5th Indiana Jones movie. I would say we're in pretty bad territory right now. If Steven Spielberg's not involved, there's probably a reason for it.
But I get it, but to me, like, I'm not I don't think Spielberg's been great for a long time. So I don't know if I even believe that's an indictment on the new movie, because I like to think a guy like James Mangold, two things, is a good director and probably has appreciation for those films. Because why would you take on an obstacle like this if you didn't have a deep respect for what the first 4 movies are, or at least the first 3 movies? So I assume he's going to put his best effort forth. This is going to go with how good can Harrison Ford be at 78 is going to be what drives the success of this movie. But the idea, if it's going to come, is it going to go to movie theaters? Do we know, or is it going to go direct to?
We're talking 2022. So
probably we won't know, because who knows what shit looks like in 2022 at this point. But they got to be optimistic they're going to the box office with it. And I'm optimistic that they figure out how to do this.
I mean,
correctly.
They've always been a big. Yeah, Brad Pitt's part of the cast. I just saw that. This is a film that, at least in the 4th one, it was a budget of $158 million.
Are we going to find out, like, Brad Pitt's his kid? Because look at those 2 pictures. They look kind of like...
I would say Brad Pitt's probably got him by about... I mean, he's younger by about 18 years, but he's killing it in the looks game.
You tell me Brad Pitt's like 58?
No, 18 years? That's 60.
You think Brad Pitt's 60?
He's not? How old is Brad Pitt?
Click on Brad... Man, I don't know 60, if that's 60. 56.
56. I'm not that far off.
Yeah, I don't know. He's a sexy man.
No, that's what I'm saying. He doesn't look 60. Yeah. I'd bang him until he's 80 at least.
For the money.
I wish I didn't say that. Not for the money. No, just he's a good looking guy.
No, just say for the money.
Bipartisan, I would then have some interaction with Angelina Jolie, which has always been on my bucket list.
So
write it down.
Can I ask you, if you'd fuck Brad Pitt till he's 80, are you still willing to fuck Harrison Ford?
Listen, Hugh Jackman right now, I think, is about 40 something, and he's got at least another couple decades where he's in prime time Matt
He's
territory.
in his 50s also, and I'm just gonna say, let's get the fuck out of here, because
it's getting weird.
We're in a rabbit hole right now that we're not taking ourselves out of. So, this has been a really fun episode. I think the Disney stuff's pretty exciting. I think the Star Wars stuff's pretty exciting. Here we are with Indiana Jones. Somewhere in the middle of that, I got upset about Pinocchio, and it's been a real fun treat here.
No, you showed your hate for Pinocchio. We've had fun here.
Let us know which old man you'd bang in the comments.
And let us know if Brad Pitt and Hugh Jackman make your top 3, because they're definitely in mine, and that's how we're going to wrap this up.
What guy is 50 right now that you'd fuck at 80?
I'm sure George Clooney's on that. George Clooney's on that list.
Maybe
for sure.
Juju Smith-Schuster.
And if we're crazy for even mentioning it, let us know that as well. Yeah. But make sure on your way out, you hit the subscribe button. Hit us with a like. Hit us in the chat. And we'll catch you guys right back on here. Good Taste Weekly, Entertainment Weekly. It all works.
Until next time, we love you. Later.
Later, guys.